All right, go ahead, Ant.
All right, guys, we're going to bounce back to the Browns here, but real quick, the NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get on the regular season action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. And FanDuel has so many ways for you to be able to pick up a W, which you can bet on which players will score a touchdown, how many points each team will score, and so much more. You just have to visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to join today. This way, you'll always be set for the biggest games of the year. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon for your chance at $250 in bonus bets.
All right, let's talk about the Browns again. This is always a question mark at the end of every season. You look and say, well, which of the players are at the ends of their rope here with the Cleveland Browns? This one's particularly tough for me.
Yeah.
A lot of times they're obvious. This one could be a long list. Which Browns are likely playing in their final game in an orange helmet tomorrow?
I made a whole list. Do you want?
If you made a list, I want to hear a list.
All right, let's start with
because
your
I started
list
the list and I'm like, this is going to be long.
It's tough because is Myles Garrett going to force a trade? Is Joel Bitonio going to retire because they're frustrated with the situation?
Right.
What's going to happen with Deshaun Watson, and how much will that factor into the others?
I put a
JOK injury. There's a lot of question marks.
So these are the names that I think people would recognize that I think. So guys who are going to be free agents that don't have an extra year on their contract at the Browns, I don't anticipate re-signing. Deonta Foreman, gone, right?
Yep, no reason to bring him back.
Elijah Moore,
gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
Jed Wills,
gone.
James Hudson,
gone.
Mo Hurst.
Gone.
I like Mo Hurst, but the injury part of it, if they're trying to get younger at the position.
I mean, he could come back, but I don't know that it matters if he does or doesn't.
No, he's like a role guy that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those guys were role guys that you mentioned outside of Jed Wills.
These are the guys that had expiring contracts.
Yeah, go ahead.
This next list has some guys that, since we've been doing a show, the Browns have paid money for, who would have to end up being cut. Thornhill,
gone.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ogbo.
I haven't seen enough to make me want to.
Yeah, I think he's gone.
See more.
David Bell.
Gone. The only reason he's here now is because he got hurt in training camp, right?
Yeah. What about Tomlinson?
Can they get out of him with no hit?
I don't know 100% what the cap implications are.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Browns, anybody
that's
not been super productive, and Tomlinson's been okay, but they're paying him a lot of money. I think if they can get out of him his contract, you got to move on from some of these guys. They have no choice.
I agree
They've
with
got to
that.
get cheaper options. They've got to start hitting on their draft picks, which they haven't.
Dalvin Tomlinson will be back next year. He is a smaller cap number than a dead cap number.
Oh,
So
okay.
Dalvin Tomlinson, he will be back next season. We can assure you of that. Pierre Strong, thank you. But
I mean, that's.
And then guys who I put as question marks as potential retirements, trade requests, and/or injury complication was Bitonio, Miles, and JOK.
Yeah, I think all three will be back. And maybe I'm being
optimistic.
Yeah, I don't know, but.
I don't know how much you guys got into this because I was gone when the comment was made by Miles.
Oh, we dove deep into it.
Yeah.
We did.
I don't see a reason to bring him back. I don't. You're in rebuild mode. What difference is he going to make? Is he going to be the difference maker on this team?
No.
What would you fetch if you put him on the market?
I would think you get 2 first-round
I would hope you'd get
plus
2 firsts. And you know what? At where they are right now, it's about gathering assets for the future. I wasn't here also when you guys discussed the extension or the contract reorg for Deshaun Watson.
I wasn't either for that.
I don't like that. You're just spreading the pain longer.
Yeah.
Rip the Band-Aid off, get rid of it in 2 years, and start fresh. Now there's going to be hits into the future beyond 2 years, and so you're just extending your misery.
Yeah.
Now I know the cap's going to go up, and maybe it won't be as punitive, but it's still going to be big, and it's going to hurt. I'm in favor of you got to get on a plan. I said I had a conversation with a former talent evaluator in the NFL, and he said, here's what's most important. And he says he assumes that this is going on right now in Berea. You're all coming together and saying, what is our future plan? And I asked him, I said, what's the most likely option? He goes, well, if I were in that room, I would advocate for a 2-year rebuild, starting now.
Yeah.
And that's all pinned to the Deshaun Watson clock.
Yeah.
So, and I asked him also about the Myles Garrett trade. He goes, why would you keep him? Why would you keep him? you're white flagging it for the next 2 years.
Yeah,
anyhow.
I mean, if you think, listen, there's a good chance in 3 years Myles Garrett will still be a great player, and maybe that's when you're good again. But if you trade Myles Garrett, now you're going to have at least 4 first-round picks the next 2 years,
which their
gives
NFL
you a better
clock,
chance.
Their NFL clock is just starting.
Right.
Myles is, I think we'd all agree, Myles is, if we're lucky, at the peak. If we're lucky.
No, I think he's still
probably
at the peak.
I think he's in his prime, like right now.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is, does he have more football ahead of him than he's already played?
No.
No.
The answer is likely no.
No, but he might have 5 great years left.
may.
And so maybe you're giving up. Maybe in year 3, okay, you're good again. Now you don't have Myles Garrett. So I think it is a question because he could come out the other side. But the thing is, he's not going to be happy when the team loses double-digit games the next 2 years.
And that's what it looks like.
And that's what it's going to be at least 1 more year, if not 2 more years, maybe more. So I think they will I think they should trade him this offseason. It's hard to say that because he's so great, you don't really want to give him up. But I don't know that they'll do it. But if they can,
he may force their hand.
If he does, then now you got a ton of draft capital. And then the argument's going to, of course, be, well, do you trust Andrew Berry to make those picks?
And the
which
answer
none
for
of
me
us
on
do.
that is no.
No, but
definitively no.
Yeah.
I was kind of like lukewarm on it when the report came out that, and there were 2 guys that made it, both reputable guys, and they both said, yeah, Stefanski and Berry are coming back for 25.
Right.
I was like, I'm okay with Stefanski. I don't really know about Berry.
Yeah.
The more I look at what's happened during his tenure at the draft, the more I am convinced he just isn't the right guy for this situation. And when you start, what are the hits?
No, there's not.
What are the hits?
It's
And
not a ton
now
of hits.
if you want to list the misses, they're long and
right
deep.
Yes.
I think the draft stuff's a little overblown, but yeah, I'm fine moving
I don't
on
think
from
it is.
Why
Because
would it be a little overblown?
to
That's
me,
how you build your team.
He spent his 5 first-round picks was spent on Deshaun Watson, and you could say, well, most of us wanted Deshaun Watson, which and many of us did.
It failed.
But it's not my job. My job is not NFL GM.
I just think when you look at the track record of what he has,
let me just finish.
The hit rate is so low.
First-round picks. He used 3 for Watson, 1 on Jed Wills, 1 on Greg Newsome. All
F.
the waste.
F.
That's an F.
I can't even go as high as a D. F.
Second-round picks, a lot of those got traded away.
Still got JOK in the second round.
You got JOK in the second round. That's a great pick.
Well, right now it's a question mark.
I can't hold against him if it's an injury.
And by the way, after 1 year, there were guys on this show that were saying he's done.
Right, but
he's done.
Until he got hurt, he had been great for the last year and a half. That's a great pick. But what are the other high picks that have been so good? Grant
look
Delpit
at the receivers in the 3rd round.
I'm not saying it's good. I just think when you look at
Anthony
other teams,
Schwartz, David Bell, the trade to get Elijah Moore
was a miss. Yeah,
like the hits are very, very few, and the misses are long. So I just think there's absolutely no way, because you're going to rebuild through the draft. There's no way you can sit in the offices in Berea and say, I feel good about moving forward with our draft picks with this current general manager.
I'm not saying I feel good about Berry, and I'm totally fine. If the Browns wanted to move on, I'm not going to stand here and be like, that's a wrong decision. I'm anti. I just think when you look at some of the other teams who have drafted, the hit rate as an NFL GM making these picks, I'm telling you, it's like 35-40%.
Okay, he's nowhere near that.
He's right in that range.
No, he's not.
JOK, he's a 0% on first-round picks.
I saw this here. Let me pull it.
And the 3rd round picks.
Let me see some. Is this from some Browns website propaganda?
I saw this the other day. Hold on.
Like Joe Schmo, who writes for the Brown and Blue Report?
No, this is the 49ers.
Yeah.
Pretty good team you think drafted, right?
Yeah.
Well, not really. I mean, they got lucky with Mr. Irrelevant, and they missed wildly with their quarterback.
My point is,
go ahead.
You go through a lot of these drafts, there's a lot of nobodies. In 2020, their first-round pick was Javon Kinlaw, who they've cut and is now on the Jets. They did take Brandon Ayuk with their other first-round pick. Big hit.
Yeah.
The next 3 guys, Colton McKivitz. You ever heard of him?
No.
Me either. Charlie Warner, Woerner.
No idea.
And another guy I've never heard of. Next year, Trey Lance in the 1st round, which
Disaster.
they traded multiple first-round
The
picks.
only reason that was made good was because they hit on Mr. Irrelevant the next year.
Aaron Banks, offensive lineman. I'm unfamiliar.
Nope.
Maybe he's good, maybe he's
Don't
not.
know.
Doesn't mean he's not good.
I'm just saying, I've never heard of him.
I don't know.
Trey Sermon, who's now on the Colts. So they already cut him.
He
Moved on.
stinks.
Third-round pick.
Yeah.
Ambry Thomas, third-round pick.
So you're saying because the Niners have been banned,
I'm just going through. Like,
that Andrew Berry gets his one team?
No, I'm not. I'm just okay. Ready for the next one. This is the Rams, who have a couple late-round hits.
Well, Williams and Nakua. Listen, when you hit that
The
big,
Rams won a Super Bowl.
I'm just saying, you look at other teams, it's
And
not
they're in
like
the
everyone
playoffs.
has 100% hit rates.
Who's arguing that everybody's
Nobody.
got a
I told you, I'm not for it, but I'm just saying.
nobody
Berry's-
has 100%
Berry's
hit rate.
closer to
We
30%
understand
than
that.
the other guys.
It's just gut. There's no science to it whatsoever.
That's my point. But all these guys miss.
Mike,
I'm not defending
everybody
Berry.
has
I'm just
misses.
saying it's not
Everybody has
as
misses.
bad as it's been
but
drawn out to be.
Here's how you can grade the front office of an NFL team.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see your hits. Where are your hits?
I know JOK's a legit hit.
Okay, I'm all ears.
I'm done.
What else?
I'm done.
And that's a problem.
I'm done. I mean, if DeJuan turns out to be a stud, but I don't feel confident in that with the injury history.
I felt better about it last year than I do
felt
right now.
good about Emerson. He took a big step back this year.
Big step back.
I liked what I saw from Juwan Briggs. Mike Hall looks pretty good. As
I
a
like
rookie.
Mike Hall. You know who convinced him to draft Mike Hall? Mike Vrabel.
Yeah. So
There haven't been enough hits.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
there has. I'm just saying it's not like these other teams are every year they're finding 4 or 5
Well,
studs.
you're
in
picking the
this-
team. There are plenty of teams that
All right,
do
the
hit
Rams.
more often.
You want the Rams real quick? I have it up right here. In
Yeah,
2020, Cam Akers, cut and gone. Van Jefferson, cut and gone. Terrell Lewis, cut and gone. Terrell Burgess, cut and gone. Bryson Hopkins, cut and gone. Jordan Fuller has started 13
What are you
games
doing?
for
Just
them.
1 year of a draft? I don't know what
I'm
you're
going
doing.
through 2020. I'll go through
Here's-
2021. I'll go through
Look,
2022.
I don't have the Rams draft
Yeah.
in front of me. Here's what I know about the Rams
Here it
draft.
is.
This is all all
But
I
they
need
just
got
to
some
know.
telling you,
big
they-
hits.
Kieran Williams, Puka Nakua.
So they got 2 hits.
Mic drop.
2 hits.
Not just hits.
But they're
one of the best
still
running backs
Pro
and one of the
Bowl.
best
point
wide
is,
receivers.
I'm not defending Barry. I'm just saying it's not as
You are
bad.
defending Barry.
It's not as
Yeah.
bad if Barry's at like a 25% hit rate.
Yeah.
But Mike
The
is
league-
not.
No.
But like
He's nowhere near that.
But what do you call a hit? Like
A
Newsom's
hit. We know
Newsom's
what a
been
hit is. I mean, we all
Newsom's
say
been a hit.
I don't.
He's a top 64 cornerback in football. He's a
top
starting
what?
64. He's a starting cornerback in the NFL.
Okay, that doesn't make him a hit.
Who?
Newsom.
Oh.
You got a starter for 5 years with the first round pick. That's a hit.
Yeah,
Well,
but
it's a
somebody's
single.
got to start.
It's a single. It's a single.
That's
Yes.
my point. It's not a complete.
but the
Kieran
Rams hit 2 home
Kieran
runs.
Williams and Puka Nakua are home runs.
Their
This is a
entire
team-
2020 draft has been cut.
But this is a
That was
team. Mike,
5
this-
years ago.
That was
This
the
is a
draft we're
team
talking
that
about in
made a
Barry's
trade
regime.
a handful
Yeah.
of years ago
Yeah.
that everybody said this is the all-time ultimate all-or-nothing trade.
Yeah, but here's the
And,
thing.
and because
I'm
if
not
they
saying
don't hit
Barry's
on it,
good.
they're going to
I'm
be
just
awful.
saying
And they haven't
Every
been
GM
awful.
doesn't have this crazy track
But
record
you're
of
making
success.
it seem like we think everybody's got a great track
They
record.
don't.
No.
But you
We're
said
saying-
maybe 25%. Like I'm waiting to hear the hits from the Browns draft.
The Browns have a couple of singles.
Browns drafted 2 kickers in the Andrew Berry draft
Yeah.
that we don't even have anymore.
The draft 2?
I think they did.
They drafted Cade
Cade
York
York.
and they drafted
Before that-
Austin Seibert. I think.
Yes.
Was that Barry?
Yeah.
I don't know if that was Berry
I
or
don't
if that
remember.
was
Hey, what year
Dorsey.
I think that was Dorsey. I think that was pre-2020, but I could be
Mike, the Rams are a bad comparison. A, they hit on 2 home runs.
Give me a
B,
team. Give me any
They
team.
traded first-round picks to get Matthew Stafford, who led them to a Super Bowl.
I told you, if you want to fire Barry, I'm totally fine with that.
But-
I just think the complete rampage of he can't draft.
Okay, your
is
finger's on the button
overblown
then. Your finger's
because-
on the button, okay? You're the man that has to make the call.
Yeah, I'm firing him.
You're going to sell to the fan base that the guy that's made the picks the last 5 years is going to be the guy that gets us out of the mess that he helped create.
No, I would fire
I
Andrew
can't
Berry.
sell the fan base.
I would fire Andrew
And
Berry.
by the way, when the best thing you could say about Greg Newsome is he's a starter, when you drafted him in the first round, I mean, you're lucky you get a single for that.
Somebody's got to start.
There are much worse picks than a guy who starts for 5 years and leaves.
Yeah, that's not a glowing endorsement.
Once again,
Yes, there are
let me
worse
look at
picks.
this. I would fire Andrew Berry. I
Yeah.
do not trust him to rewrite this franchise. I
Yeah.
just think some of the narratives about him being the worst drafter in the history of the world. have
Nobody's
been
ever said
overblown.
that.
I haven't said that.
No.
It's just not good enough to get this team out of the mess he helped them create.
How many GMs do you trust less than Andrew Berry? A lot?
I don't know every GM.
Yeah. You just brought up the Rams and the
I
Niners.
take Les Snead in a heartbeat, and I take
Exactly.
John Lynch in a heartbeat. yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so those are your 2 examples of bad
Well, I had more.
drafts.
Y'all just-
And yet, give me another team.
Give me a team. I'll pull up any team you want.
here's the thing,
Give me
Mike.
any team you want.
Take the Broncos.
Mike, ultimately,
Broncos.
you can draft these, you can grade these drafts on the micro with the individual talent. But there's one scoreboard that matters the most. There's only one really metric that talks about an organization's success or failure, and that's your win rate. And so San Francisco and the Rams, their win rate has been outstanding. You look at what the Browns' win rate has been, it's abysmal. It's just not good. That's a sum of all of the moves that you make.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I just can't trust this organization's future to be in the same hands that it's been in the past. Because you're going to get more of the same. Is he suddenly going to become this great finder of talent?
I reiterate, I'm okay moving on from Barry.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Mike. To say, okay, there's other GMs that have screwed it up too. That's true. But there are GMs who have had success in the draft, are there not?
I told you, give me a team. I'm ready to pull up any team.
Okay,
right
let's
here.
look at the Steel. Let's look at the Ravens.
Ravens.
Yeah.
Ravens 2020 draft. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
We'll go through the Andrew Berry timeline of Patrick Queen.
Excellent player.
Grand Slam home run.
They didn't re-sign him. He
They
left.
didn't re-sign him.
No, we're talking draft, right?
Yeah. They
Right?
didn't re-sign him. You're right.
They didn't re-sign him.
Yep.
He wasn't
No.
good
He's a
enough.
good player.
Well, listen,
Good.
but that could be for a myriad of reasons. When we're talking about drafting now, not trades and re-signs.
Yeah.
We're talking about talent evaluation of 22-year-old
That's
men.
not a home run, but it's better than Greg Newsom.
I give it a double.
All right. Okay,
Wait,
fine.
Wow, I'm surprised you guys give it only
He
a
struggled
double.
early in his career in
Yeah, but
Baltimore.
he
got
was a
better
great
at the end.
player at the end.
Yeah, he was.
He worked himself into a situation where he could get paid a lot more money.
Yeah.
And at that time, the Ravens said, we have bigger needs to fill.
Yeah.
So they went in a different direction.
And by the way, the Ravens front office has been around longer than 2020, so
But I'm saying this
we're
is
going to
from-
ignore
from-
Lamar Jackson.
No,
the
no, I'm
fact
saying
that
this is from
they
the
drafted
Andrew
him.
Berry timeline.
Okay, fine.
J.K.
That's not a
Dobbins-
fair comparison.
J.K. Dobbins
That's
was
not a
the-
fair comparison because the Ravens didn't need a quarterback during that time. The Browns have, but go ahead.
J.K. Dobbins was their second-round pick.
Yeah, he got hurt. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like the pick, and they liked the pick.
Yeah.
Matabike was their third-round pick, who's
Yep.
been an absolute stud.
Yep.
Yeah, great.
Malik Harrison,
Don't know.
unfamiliar. He's only played 14
Well,
games.
only give us through like fourth-round picks. I mean,
That's the third-round pick.
Yeah.
Tyree Phillips,
I don't know.
Yeah, at this point, you're
Ben Breederson.
the chance of making
Is
the
he an
team.
offensive lineman?
Yeah, they took Geno Stone in the 7th round.
Great pick.
Wow.
Great pick.
Yeah.
They also took
Seventh round.
They also took James Prochet that year.
Wow.
2021, Rashad Bateman.
He's turned
Yes.
into a solid player.
Yes,
He's not,
he has.
He hasn't been
He's
worth
a
a first-round
single.
pick, but he's a single.
Yeah, I'd take him.
He's in the same plane
I don't
as
love
Newsom.
him. It's
Same
not a
plane
great
as
pick,
Newsom,
but
yeah.
he's had unlike
Let me
Greg
ask it this
Newsom,
way.
his arrow's pointing up
Would you
right
take
now.
him on the Browns right now?
I would. He'd
Yeah,
be their
well,
second best receiver.
Every team would take Greg Newsom
Yeah.
too.
Not every team.
Odafe Owe,
He's very good.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Ben Cleveland.
No.
I think he's
He's
starting
okay.
offensive
Yeah,
lineman
but
for them.
he's
think he's
not
okay.
a difference maker.
Yeah, well,
Brandon Stevens,
I'm not sure.
No.
and Tylan Wallace are their top 4 rounds.
Don't know.
No
Okay,
one, no one later who
Yeah.
I've ever recognized.
Got it.
2022. So that's an okay draft.
So far, it's a lot better than Andrew Berry.
And take this
Well,
into
you
account.
picked the best team now.
Also,
Well,
but
Mike,
also take
I'm
this into
looking
account.
in the middle of
They're
this next
picking
draft.
late every year.
Hold on.
Yeah,
This
right.
next
That's right.
There's a lot of positions they just don't need.
Yeah.
this next
That's
draft
right.
is loaded. They're the best drafted team in football. So
Mike,
yeah, they're really
shouldn't
good.
the goal be to have a GM that could draft like the Ravens?
If there
not
was a
like
million
the
Ozzie
shitty
Newsom,
teams?
there was a million. No, it's not.
It wasn't Ozzie
Ozzie
Newsom.
Who's
No,
the-
Ozzie was gone
Who's
by
the new
then.
guy? Who's the new guy?
What's his name?
DaCosta.
DaCosta.
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
does a
And
great job.
And you know what? They didn't miss a beat.
No.
I mean, Ozzie was great.
Because he
Yeah,
came
this-
through Ozzie's system.
This next draft is absolutely
Go ahead.
loaded. Hamilton,
Great.
stud.
Yeah.
Linderbaum, stud.
Great offensive lineman.
Abajo, the pass rusher, who's
Yeah,
been pretty
very
good.
good.
And didn't they go to the conference championship game that year?
Now,
Not that
So
year.
where were they drafting?
they had
Well,
2
either
first-round
all
picks.
these years they were in the bottom 10.
Hamilton was 14, Linderbaum was 25.
Yeah.
So whoever they got.
Yeah.
Daniel, I can't pronounce his last name, Falele, the big offensive tackle who's
Yeah, he's
starting
good.
now.
He's a
good
starter.
player.
They took in the 4th round Isaiah Likely.
When Mark Andrews retires, he'll be a top 10 tight
Steal.
end. Yeah.
They also took Jordan Stout, their punter, in that round.
Yeah, I'm not sure about
And then their last 2 picks.
All right, go ahead.
Never heard of.
I don't think we need any more from the Ravens. The point is,
They're really
the
good at
bar
drafting.
should be the good drafting teams.
Well, yeah, if you can
It
get
can't
that.
be
yes.
Nobody's
average.
saying
Okay.
I'm sure there are fans saying Andrew Berry's the worst GM in the league. He might not be the worst GM in the league. He might be 25th. He might be 28th. He might be 23rd. Either way, it's not good enough.
And you're not going to get out of where you are if you let the pilot keep driving the car.
That's right.
Like, it's got to change.
I also,
Something's got to change.
Let me reiterate for the 10th time.
Yeah.
I am not saying Andrew Berry should keep his job.
Yeah.
I am all in favor of making a change at the general manager position because, to your point, I don't trust him to get the highest of picks right.
Now, the bigger problem is,
my point just is,
if
it's
not Berry,
as bad.
who? And because they've not, like, if you're going to bring John Dorsey back, I'm all in on that. But
would he leave Detroit?
I don't know. Would you?
Not right now.
I don't know.
He'd have more power here.
I have no idea how to be like, this guy's going to be a good next GM. Like, it's such a
there's
crap
no
shoot.
way to know that.
Just give me John Dorsey. I've seen enough of John Dorsey to know I'd take him again.
Still should have gotten Josh Allen. I can understand not taking Lamar, I guess.
But you know what's funny about that draft is how this year has changed the narrative on the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, because it was
Sam
just
Darnold,
2 quarterbacks, now it's 4.
Yeah, exactly. But, you can always, every year.
Come on, Josh Rosen, make that comeback.
Josh Rosen, I think everybody's pretty much given up on.
Yeah.
I know he's your all-time favorite quarterback.